Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for a radio audience tuning in at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could be with us. Also, tuning in to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcasts. We're glad you all could join us as well. Well, look, I don't have to tell you, life can really weigh heavy on all of us, and that's true for young and old. Our next guests have been able to write a book and illustrate a book that I think will inspire people of all ages. I know it inspired me. We're excited to welcome Marc Colagiovanni to our program today, as well as illustrator Peter Reynolds. The new book is called When Things Aren't Going Right, Go Left. We'll talk to Marc not only about the writing of the book, but also what it was like for Peter to couple these great illustrations to go along with it. If you all are just now finding out about the book, of course, we'll let you know how to get your own copy of it. Marc, Peter, thank you so much again for the time. Really do appreciate you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Cyrus. Great to be with you, and thanks for helping spread the news about this very special book. I've worked on many, many books over my 30 years and of doing books, and this one is a very, very special project, and so I'm really happy that you're helping spread the word.
Well, look, the pleasure's definitely all mine. Marc, I want to begin with you. I saw a great video you did talking about the themes of this book, and I think as people go through, and we'll kind of highlight some of it to kind of tease them a little bit so they can get their own copy of it. What has it been like for you, Marc, to see how these words of encouragement have been able to already inspire people, even though the book is just now officially being released?
Yeah, it's been it's been incredible. Whenever you write anything, if you get a platform like I've been afforded, a publishing house like Scholastic, an illustrator like Peter, when you're given that opportunity, your hope is that you can write something that makes a difference. And the difference I hope this makes is that it initiates conversations between children and adults, and together we can start to figure out a way to manage the burdens in our life. So it's just been an incredible journey so far.
And Peter, to the point that Marc was making, and as you said, I mean, you've been able to be a part of some amazing book projects. What was it like for you? We all have heard the saying, the cliche, Peter, at this point, a picture's worth 1,000 words, but literally the pictures that you've given this book really do, I think, illustrate in such a visual way for young and old what the message of the book is. What has that been like for you to be able to use your gift that way, Peter?
Well, as soon as I started reading Marc's words, this movie started appearing in my head, a little film, and it was, the subject is kind of heavy, and I thought, heavy, yeah, the burdens are heavy, and I just imagine this little character dragging along this big heavy bag and have a big overloaded suitcase and a big heavy knapsack, and I think any of us who have struggled through airports recently with all of our luggage, that's what it's like. And, for kids, having metaphors to grapple and get a sense of something big and abstract like, frustrations and worries and fears, I was able to use my imagination and actually create these little critters, these little characters that are inside the luggage that this little kid is dragging around. And so for me, it was just, I was a kid in a candy shop, being able to illustrate all of these wild, fantastical creatures. And I wanted to make sure they didn't seem scary, because that's the whole point of this book, is that, if you talk about it, if you share, that your burdens aren't going to be as heavy, they're not going to be as scary, and there are people around us that are here to help you. So this is really a lovely, gentle way to get those conversations, as Marc said, to start those conversations, and they're going to be healing conversations. And I think there are going to be a lot of people who are suffering out there who are going to be helped by this book, and so I'm really proud to be a part of it.
Peter, that's such a great point. And Marc, I want to go to you with that, because, again, as you said in your introductory video about this book, and I definitely saw it in reading it, we all know what that voice is like to tell us, are you sure you're making the right decision? You're making a mistake. What has that been like for you to deal with that for yourself as an adult, and then to be able to show young people that, they're not alone in what they're feeling?
Yeah, that's an important point.
these feelings, it's very important, I think, for ourselves, and we let children know that these feelings are completely normal. We have to normalize the fact that it's okay to have worries and fears and frustrations and doubts. We have them all the time. And the bigger lesson is that it's also normal and okay to put them down for a while. So that's the message I hope that really resonates in people of all ages with this story.
Peter, what about for you? I mean, as you said, it's hard not to read these words and not be, struck by them. What was it like for you to be able to think about that for yourself as you were illustrating this? These voices that are telling us what we shouldn't do and questioning whether we're making the right decision. What was it like for you as an illustrator?
I could totally relate to these words, and immediately I thought to myself, this is definitely not just for kids. This is for adults, because we adults, we're pretty critical of ourselves, and right we get thrown a lot of wrenches on the journey, and even in my creative career, I've had doubts. Probably one of my best-selling books, Happy Dreamer, I almost gave up on. I showed it around a little bit, and it got rejected, and I said, I'm just going to put it back in the shoebox under my bed. And my agent, Holly McGee, said, Peter, what's I said, well, I just felt good to write this because it was a story about me growing up and struggling as a kid. And she said, wow, this is a story about you? And so she pulled it out, and we pulled it out of the box. And so I needed Holly to give me that little nudge. And I think by reading a picture book, the parent, the teacher, they're going to be able to give those kids those little nudges to say, don't give up on your dream. Keep going. There are people out here who want to help you achieve that dream.
Peter, to stay with you for a second, it wasn't lost on me as I was reading the book that there was one character that was consistent with our main character, and that was the bird. And I kept thinking, even though it wasn't explicitly mentioned in the story, that idea of being able to soar, the idea of being able to keep moving. Talk to us about the bird for you and its role in the book.
Sure. Yeah, the bird is a great symbol, right? Wings, we need our wings to take flight. Is also, birds can see things we always say, right, look at a situation at 30,000 feet. And that bird's eye look at the world, sometimes you need to pull back and say, okay, big picture. I have shelter, I have a pillow, I got my family. Things aren't that bad. So the bird, kind of powerful symbol for me. And then it's also a little nod to my dad, who he would make one drawing every year, and it was of a guy wearing a hat with a little bird on his head. So I try to sneak that little bird into all of my books. So it makes me think of my dad.
Marc, last question to you. What is your hope as we're having a conversation like this and people are learning about the book, that when things aren't going right, Go Left does for them as they look at their life and the decisions they have to make?
Yeah, well, my hope is that that the story connects to both children and adults, and with the hopes of initiating a conversation between the two. As parents or mentors in any child's life, it's our number one responsibility to continually take a mental inventory as to how our children are coping emotionally, especially these days. It's a beautiful world, but it's a challenging one, and our children are really suffering, through the pandemic. And so my hope is that these conversations will occur, and it can begin the healing.
Well, Marc, Peter, thank you all so much for sharing with us again. The book is When Things Aren't Going Right, Go Left. Definitely invite our audience to get their copy of it, and I really appreciate the two of you, and looking forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you, Cyrus.
And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's go make today amazing. Take care.